Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Jam Bet's Super Wild Card Sunday. We've got three games on the docket today: Broncos versus Bills, the early afternoon game; Packers versus Eagles, the late afternoon game; and then Sunday night football, Commanders versus Buccaneers. Three really good games. Looking forward to all of them. I am Tyke Money, joined by the fantastic Momma Mia over here. Looks like she's wearing some sort of shirt. What does it say, Mama?
It says, I don't often hate, but when I do, I hate the Green Bay Packers. So guess who I'm picking in the middle game today?
The suspense is killing me. All right, so we'll kick it off. We've got Broncos Bills. We'll go game by game. We'll give you guys some players we think are going to overperform, underperform, and then we'll tell you if we think either team's going to win or lose and or cover the spread. So, Mamma Mia, would you please kick us off with Broncos versus Bills?
Yes, I will. Denver has got themselves into the wild card round. They were the number 7 seed, and they are lucky enough to go out to Buffalo. Holy cow. Buffalo has been destined to be in the playoffs for a while this year. They have that one guy, Josh Allen, playing at a phenomenal level. He's he's just incredible. I mean, and he's having a really good year. So on the Buffalo side, I'm saying he's going to overperform. He is so ready for this game. He's like he is Superman. On the other side of that, on Buffalo, my underperformer, I'm going to go with Dalton Kincaid. I think they're going to probably run the ball a lot with James Cook and throw the ball to Amari Cooper. And my sleeper guy here, Mac Hollins. I think Mac Hollins is going to be snooping around the end zone and just lighting some things up, getting behind this really, really good defensive unit that Denver has. So that's my Buffalo players. And on Denver, I think the Denver defense is going to be ready for this game. They know that the pressure's on them. They have a rookie quarterback. He's playing very well. He's being talked about. If he wins this game, he could be rookie of the year. Because how do you go into Buffalo, in a playoff game and win that game? That would be incredible. So I think the defense is going to step up, try and shut down the running game, which means not just James Cook, but also Josh Allen. And, he's like a running back. He runs right into people. He doesn't slide. He goes right at them. So this will be quite a matchup between that defense and Josh Allen, I think. I also really like on the Denver side, I think Marvin Mims is going to have a big game. I think he's really shown up this season, and he's starting to really click with Bo Nix. And last game he had 8 receptions for 103 yards against Cincinnati and 2 touchdowns, but it was Cincinnati's defense, so that's not quite the same. My underperformer, I'm seeing Javonte Williams fall off. He's getting on the bench a little bit more. He's not on the field as much. He had zero carries at Cincinnati, and he had 2 receptions for 0 yards. So that tells me that he's kind of getting benched. I don't think they were holding him down to save him last week for the playoffs either. I think they like the other kid, Estime, and they probably want to get him more involved. And he had a lot more action last week. So I could be wrong, but I'm seeing Javonte Williams as being kind of a bench rider this week again. So Those are my under and over performers for this game. How about you, Tyke? What do you got?
I did not realize Williams had 0 carries last week. That might be a changing of the guard there. I'll have to take a look at his snap percentage. That's an interesting stat. So I've got an overperformer and an underperformer. My overperformer, I'm taking James Cook. I think Josh Allen is definitely going to be the X factor of this game, but I think the running game is what the Bills are going to need to win this game. The Broncos have a very good defense, very good secondary as well, which I think will have the Bills need to be run heavy. I think they're going to want to own time of possession, chew away at that clock. Josh Allen, Cooks, just back and forth, run, 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 run. But Denver's defense has been subpar against running backs and the rush in general. Denver is allowing 116 rushing yards per game to opposing running backs. Kind of took me by surprise. I thought Denver's defense was a lot more stout against the run than that. But James Cook, he's averaging 4.65 yards per carry in zone runs, and he's averaging 5.3 yards per carry in man runs as well. So he's getting very good yards per carry. And then on top of that, Denver's defense is allowing more than 3.5 yards per carry against both of those types of run schemes as well. Cooks is also, he's getting a fair amount of carries inside the 5-yard line. Not nearly as many as Josh Allen. But when Cooks does get the ball inside the 5-yard line, he's scored a touchdown on 54% of those carries. So he's very good inside the 5-yard line, as is Josh Allen. So I'm seeing those two really be the difference maker, but I think Cooks has potential to have a good game as well. I think he's going to get a lot of volume. And then as for my underperformer, which fits into kind of the game dynamic that I'm seeing, I'm taking Courtland Sutton to underperform. Sutton, he'll be going up against the Bills secondary, which is not bad, but Sutton does not really bode well for what I'm going to see or what I'm expecting to see coverage wise. The Broncos will be running man coverage, cover one, about 14.6% of their plays. Sutton's very average against that. He's only averaging 2.7 yards per route ran. He'll be seeing cover two about 20%. His yards per route ran there is abysmal. It's just over 1 yard per route ran. Cover three, he'll be seeing about 28% of the time. He gets a little bit better. It's 2.15 yards per route ran there. And then cover four, the Bills do run cover four a little bit more than the league average, and Sutton is just terrible against cover four. His yards per route ran is a 0.07 yards per route ran. So he actually has a pretty good target rate, but he doesn't have a lot of yards. I don't know if they're running a lot of screens that aren't working against that type of coverage. But I'm expecting those two to work out that way. I really think James Cook, particular, will have a good game. The Broncos secondary, they have the All-Pro cornerback Patrick Surtain, and then on the other side they have Riley Moss, who is very likely going to be a Pro Bowl nod as well. So I don't see the Bills passing the ball a ton. I see Amari Cooper being washed out by Surtain. So we'll see. Maybe their slot cornerback, Matt Collins. I think that's a good pick. He likely won't have either of them on him. So for that reason, I'm taking James Cook to overperform and Sutton to underperform. So the spread for this game, the Bills are a pretty heavy favorite. The Bills are giving 8.5 points in this game. And the total's pretty high as well. Total is 47.5 points. Momma Mia, what are your thoughts on this game?
47.5 points is a lot of points. I'm not sure that Denver is going to keep pace with Buffalo. I think it'll be kind of a chess match in the beginning, and then we do love Sean Payton. We think he's a bit of a genius. He's going to have to really be crafty to stop the Baltimore offense. He does have a defense that works well though, and um, they were number 7 in the defense as a defensive unit in whole for yards, 5,391 yards. Buffalo has given up 5,806 yards. So they're a little bit better of a defense. Their offense is where they seem to struggle. You know, the offense for Buffalo is 10th and 9th for rushing, 9th for passing. They just have everything working for them, like you were just saying. So I think Buffalo is going to win this game, and I'm not sure if they're going to cover. 8.5 is an awful lot to be making up. I think that Denver's going to be respectable. I think that they'll lose, but they won't lose by 8.5 points.
I agree with you. I think the 8.5 is very high. I think Broncos have a lot of tangibles that are to their advantage in this game. They just need to stop the run. If they can stop the run, they're going to keep this game close. Now, it's a lot easier said than done when you've got Josh Allen back there, who's, the second coming of Mike Allstott, seemingly. So I think that'll be a very good call out there. Stop the run. If the Broncos can stop the run, the Broncos will cover this number. That's my call right there. So we've got the second game here. We have the Packers versus the Eagles. This is the late afternoon game. It's a 3:30 Central Time kickoff. I've got a overperformer and an underperformer for this game as well. I'll go ahead. I'll kick that off. So the overperformer that I'm going to go with Josh Jacobs as my overperformer. The Packers really haven't looked very stellar these past couple weeks. Jordan Love got a little banged up in that Week 18 game against the Packers as well. I see the Packers getting Josh Jacobs the ball frequently. And Josh Jacobs also leads the league in first quarter attempts and yards. So I see the Packers giving him the ball early, getting him going, setting that pace, trying to get some momentum on their side. Josh Jacobs is also averaging more than 4 yards per carry in man and zone rushes, which is what I love to see when I'm picking a overperforming running back. He gets a good balance of those running attempts as well. He's very close to the 50-50 mark. And Philadelphia is also allowing 4.33 yards against zone attempts and 3.85 yards per attempt against man. So they have been not very good against the run. Packers also have Watson, who is out for this week. He is their deep target threat. So I really see the Packers needing to own the time of possession here. They brought in Josh Jacobs for this exact reason. They're going to give him the ball a lot. They're going to try and capitalize on this, keep their defense fresh, and keep it going. So I see Josh Jacobs getting off to a hot start and hopefully keeping that momentum going. As for my underperformer, I'm taking A.J. Brown as my underperformer. A.J. Brown's had a spectacular season, but A.J. Brown is a man coverage. He is the number one man coverage beating wide receiver in the league. But the Packers don't run a lot of man coverage. So Packers run cover one man coverage 16.2%, which versus cover one and cover zero, that's where A.J. Brown does his damage. Versus cover one, A.J. Brown's yards per route ran is 3.95 on the season. That is incredibly high. I think the only player who's higher than him is Nico Collins on the year against that type of coverage. But the Packers will be running a lot of zone. They'll be running cover two about 25% of their plays. And A.J. Brown's yards per route ran drops from a 4 versus man coverage to a 1.23 against cover two. So he's going to see that defense about a quarter of the plays, and he doesn't have very good stats on that against the season. Packers will also be running cover 3 at 33.3% of plays. Well, that's their average on the season anyway. And A.J. Brown's yards per route ran is a 2.65, which is about league average. So nothing spectacular there. Again, he's a man coverage guy. Packers don't run a whole lot of man coverage. Zone coverage, I will say, and this is not an official pick or anything, but Devontae Smith has been the zone coverage guy for the Eagles this year. So if you wanted to pick an Eagles receiver, I would lean towards Smith. He's been the much better receiver against zone coverage. So, Momma Mia, who are your players you're looking out for in the Packers versus Eagles?
All right, so I obviously think that the Packers are going to have their hands full, but they have the number 5 offense for yards, and they have the number 5 defense for yards. So they're a decent team. They're young. They went in and they shocked the world last year against Dallas. So there's potential there. I think that I'm going to go with my overperformer. I'm choking on this. Is Jordan Love. In the first week of the season, the Packers went to Philadelphia. He completed 17 of 34 passes for 260 yards and 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He had a pretty decent game against them. No, it was a long time ago. But if he's healthy, and I don't know how injured he got or if he just had a funny bone little issue, but if he's healthy, he's gonna ball out. He's a very competitive young man. And he's got a short memory. Like, he throws a pick, he just gets back out there and just starts slinging it. He's got a little bit of that reminds me of Josh Allen, who's not afraid to throw the ball around. They are missing Christian Watson. He will miss him. I also think for my underperformer on the Packers, it's going to be Kraft, the tight end. Because of the injury sustained in the game against the Bears, I think they're going to play, unless they have to, they're going to be pulling those tight ends in as linemen. So I don't see Kraft getting a lot of volume tomorrow or today because he's going to need to be protecting that quarterback. I do agree with you that Josh Jacobs, it's falling on him right now. Like, they're going to try and run the ball, but if they can't, Jordan Love he's going to have to carry the team. I don't think that he'll have a bad game, but you never know. That Philadelphia defense is number 1, by the way, so it could be pretty hard for him. Now I'm going to flip over and see who I like for Philadelphia. It's got to be Saquon Barkley. He's fresh. They rested him last week. He's looking forward to getting into a playoff game for years now. So he is telling them, give me the damn ball. Just give me the damn ball. And he's going to run all over this defense. So I think Saquon's going to have a game that's going to make people go, wow, he is the real deal. On the flip side of that, I think our friend Jalen Hurts is going to struggle a little bit. I think he's going to have a little bit of a problem with the defense. Green Bay is, they're smart. They're a smart defense. They're young. I think they're still missing Alexander, though. Zaire Alexander. But yeah, I think he's going to be pedestrian. He might throw a couple of picks. Green Bay's kind of wily. They're quick. They get off the brakes. So if he has errant throw, it's going to be picked off. So I think he might have a rough day. Um, and I don't know that they're going to want to do the tush push against this team. I think they'll just rely on Saquon more than ever. So I'm going Saquon is my leader in the clubhouse. He actually will carry the Philadelphia Eagles pretty far into these playoffs, I think. So I can't see the defense of Green Bay stopping them. I just don't think. I know they stopped Swift pretty easily last week, but that's not Saquon Barkley. So there's no comparison there. So that's what I got for my over and under performers in this game. What do you got for your predictions on this game, Tyke?
So Eagles are the favorite, 4.5 favorites. They are at home, so they're getting basically an automatic 3 points just for that. So if this was in a neutral site, they're saying the Eagles are only a 1.5 point favorite. Um, I'm not buying it. I think the Eagles are a much better team. I think the Eagles will cover that 4.5 spread. I think especially during maybe the end of the game, third back half, second half, I could see the Eagles more running away with this. Eagles just benched all of their starters, kept Saquon from running for the rushing record, as you brought up. If the Eagles do all of that and lose this game, there will be hell. Like, their media is going to blow up. Like, what are you doing? You've had all this time off. You benched everybody. And if you lose the home game, he probably will lose his job. He probably won't be on that plane coming back if they lose this.
Well, they're at home.
Well, maybe he will be put on the plane then. I don't know. Yeah, they are home. You're right. But I think there's a lot of pressure on Sirianni to win this game, so I'm gonna pick the Eagles there. Packers third best record in their division. I think that maybe takes a little bit of pressure off of them. I know they obviously want to win, but I think this is a must-win game for the Eagles. So hopefully they don't get in their own heads. And I think the Eagles will cover. I think the spread is about right, so I'll take the Eagles to win by more than 4.5. How about you, Mama?
Well, I have to take the Eagles because of my T-shirt. I do prefer to hate the Green Bay Packers when I hate. I don't know that they're going to cover the spread, though. I think LaFleur has this team working together really, really, really well. I also think that coming out of this division with Minnesota and Detroit, having to play those two and the Bears, they lost to the Bears. They were embarrassed by that game. I think we kind of got lucky because they didn't want anybody to get hurt, so we kind of got lucky on that win, but I'll take it. Any kind of win in Green Bay is, it's like our Super Bowl. But I think they got something to prove, and I think their coach, he is ready for this game. And if I'm looking at just the coaches, I think Matt LaFleur is way ahead of Nick Sirianni as far as scheming and prepping and everything. So, but when you look at the roster of the Eagles, especially that defense, I can't see Green Bay winning the game. I do think that it's going to be closer than 4.5 points, though. I do. I think it's going to come down to like the last 2 minutes of this game. I think Green Bay is they're bringing it. They're going to bring it. I think I think they're going to shock. Again, I think they're capable of shocking everyone. I just hope they don't win. I mean, I really am pulling for the Eagles. I think I think they have all the weapons and the moxie and the experience. You know, they've got a lot of experienced players on that roster, and their offensive line is probably one of the best in the league. I mean, they're going to be a hard team to beat in the rest of the playoffs, I think. So it would be a shock to see Green Bay win. But I do think Green Bay is going to put a scare in them. I do believe that. So that's where I'm at on that game. What else do we got today?
So we've got the last game, the Sunday night game, the Commanders versus the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are 3-point favorite and at home, so they're saying it's a pretty evenly matched team. The total's very high as well. Total's at 50.5. The books are projecting no defense in this game. Well, minimal defense in this game anyway.
Yeah.
Momma Mia, you wanna kick it off?
Yeah. All right. So I think Washington has surprised everybody this season. I'm going to go with my overperformer is Terry McLaurin. He has made a great connection with his new little quarterback, the skinniest quarterback in the league, I think, Jaden Daniels. And he's always been a good player. Even when he didn't have a quarterback that could throw to him, he's always been good. And so he's another guy who's been dying to get into these playoffs. And he's gonna bring everything. He's gonna show he's a top wide receiver, and go against the vaunted Tampa Bay defense. So I think that there's going to be a lot of throwing, and I think it is going to be a high-scoring game. And for that reason, I am saying my underperformer for Washington is Brian Robinson Jr. Tampa Bay has given up 97 rushing yards per game. Not a lot. They're pretty stingy. I think because the pace of this game, especially if my friend Baker Mayfield is hot, there's going to need to be a lot of scoring. And I think Jaden Daniels and T. McLaurin and that Zacchaeus kid, he's good too. On Washington are going to have to. They're going to have to throw the ball. They're not going to be able to keep Baker off the field. And on the Tampa Bay side, I'm obviously picking Baker Mayfield to be the overperformer. He has turned himself around since he's gotten with the Bucs and turned into one heck of a. I mean, this is what I think Cleveland wanted to see when he was with them. This guy can play. He's like the top 3 quarterback in the entire league right now. He's playing at such a high level, and I think he'll be able to do that against Washington. My underperformer on Tampa is going to be Rashid White. I think he's been replaced by Bucky Irving as the lead back. He might get a couple of passes, but I don't see him being a dominant player in this game. The differentials in points, Washington's got a positive differential of 94, and Tampa has a positive differential of 117. So they're going to be pretty evenly matched. But yeah, so I got T. McLaurin and Baker as my overperformers, and Brian Robinson Jr. and Rashid White. The running backs, I guess there's not going to be a lot of running in this game, according to my projections. So that's what I got. How about you, Tyke?
So I've got an overperformer, and then I have a player to watch. So I'm taking Bucky Irving as my overperformer. I think he's going to be on the field frequently. He's a good pass catcher. He runs the ball very well. He's averaging 3.88 yards per carry in zone runs. But in man, he is averaging 6.51 yards per carry when he's in man runs. And that's where he gets bulk of his carries. He's about 56% of his carries are man runs. Also, Washington really struggles against the run. Washington's allowing 4.31 yards against zone, and they suck against man coverage, which is where Bucky is dominant. Washington's allowing 5.72 yards per carry against man rushes. and that's Bucky is just great at runs. That's where he gets most of his runs, and he's facing probably the worst run defense in the league against that type of run. So I'm looking for Bucky to really have a good game. Washington gives up touchdowns to running backs as well, and Washington's allowing 110 RB rushing yards per game. I see Bucky getting the ball out of the backfield on some swing routes. I'm hoping you're right with your underperformer with White, because I think Bucky is slated to kind of take over that backfield. I'm a big fan of Bucky as well. And then the other player, not really saying over or underperform, just a player to watch, taking Mike Evans. So Marshawn Lattimore is playing in this game as well for the Commanders. Anyone who knows the history of Mike Evans and Lattimore, sometimes it turns into a boxing match. So I'll be watching Mike Evans. I think there may be a punch thrown towards the end of this game, especially if one team is blowing out the other. I think those two are going to be jawing at each other all game. They hate each other. They hate each other as well. But another reason why I'll be watching Mike Evans is Mike Evans, if he can keep his head straight and not get into arguments with Lattimore, Mike Evans is in a position to have a great game. Mike Evans has just been a stellar rock star this season, especially when he was on his run to get that 1,000 yards after missing 3 or 4 games. Washington is very susceptible to the pass. They are a very low-ranked pass defense. Washington will run cover 1 man coverage 28.8% of plays. Mike Evans has 3.81 yards per route ran against cover 1, which is just below A.J. Brown and Ladd McConkey. He is right up there, top 5 receiver against that coverage. Washington's also going to run cover 2. Well, they have been running cover 2 about 18% of their plays. Mike Evans is phenomenal against this coverage as well. He's got 3.46 yards per route ran against cover 2. Then we move to cover 3, the zone defense. Washington runs cover 3 at about 25% of their plays. Mike Evans is the number 1 receiver against cover 3 with a 4.25 yards per route ran against cover 3. Those are the 3 main coverages that Washington's going to run, and those are Mike Evans' bread and butter. I see, if him and Lattimore don't get ejected in the first quarter, or if Lattimore doesn't get inside of his head, I see Mike Evans just exploding. The total on this game is very high. Buccaneers are going to score some points, and I'm seeing it come from Bucky Irving and Mike Evans. So the Buccaneers are -3, and the total's 50.5. Mama, what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a shootout. I think it's going to it could easily surpass the 50.5. I got Tampa Bay winning this game, but I am now concerned that Lattimore gets Evans kicked out of the game, because we've seen that act before. That is something to watch. You're absolutely right. So hopefully Mike Evans takes the mature route in this game and says, I'm bigger than that. I can't let you derail me, But boy, he's going to try. So that's going to be fun to watch. I don't know if Washington will cover that or not. I'm going to say no. I'm looking forward to another really tight game. Something like 27-24. So does that cover it? That does, doesn't it? It's 3 points.
It'd be a push.
It'll be a push. I think it's a push. Yeah, I think that's a push. I think you could see. You could even see 27-28 maybe. I mean, I don't think Washington's gonna be able to keep up with Tampa Bay offensively, though. I think Tampa Bay's defense is gonna slow down at some point. The Commanders, but they're gonna try. They're gonna go out there and try. So, but it'll be a close game. I think it's gonna be a push.
A push.
That's my gut.
That's a bold call.
Yeah.
I think the Bucs cover the 3 points as well. They're at home. rookie quarterback in this first playoff game on the road. Tampa Bay's got a pretty good fan base out there. They could make it pretty difficult on them if they help out. I hope the game goes over. I'm hoping for a lot of fireworks, big shootout. That'd be very entertaining. But I think the Bucs will cover the 3. I would lean towards taking the over, but I think the safer route, what I feel more safe with, is just the Buccaneers to cover the 3. So much better games this year versus last year's wild card games as well. I think last year's wild card games, every favorite and every home team won, I believe. Maybe there was one upset.
Did we pick all the favorites, Mike?
Yes, we are on all of the favorites for the Saturday and Sunday games. The only traveling team, the only away team we picked to win was the Chargers. Other than that, we have all of the home teams.
Well, we're wrong on one of these.
Hopefully only one.
Yeah, one of these is going to be an upset. So look out for that, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. There's definitely an upset somewhere here.
Would you, if you had to pick an upset, would you take the Steelers?
I unfortunately would say that I could see Green Bay shocking Philadelphia.
That's I could probably see that.
I really
as well.
could. I really could. I hate to even say it. I hope I'm not. But because they came out of such a tough division, they've played tougher teams. I mean, Dallas versus Minnesota, New York Giants versus the Bears, Commanders versus Detroit, who's played the harder schedule to get here.
Yeah.
Right. I think Green Bay's cut their teeth quite a bit this year, and to be the third team in the division to get into the wild card, you can't discount them. You just can't. You can't. I don't know what's going on with Pittsburgh. I would love for that to be the upset. That would be fabulous. But I don't know what's going on there. Something seems unsettled. So hopefully, I think Tomlin is a genius, and he hates Baltimore. So, but boy, that's going to be a tough game. So it could go the other way. You get an injury here or there, or some kind of a big play, that changes the table. Yeah. I mean, Wilson has got to not throw any interceptions in this game. He has got to play a perfect game to win this game. I really feel that way.
Yeah, he's going to have to play a perfect game to win.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. That's what we have for Super Wild Card Weekend. Please drop us a like and subscribe if you've stayed this far into the video. Thank you, everyone. Please keep an eye out for the Monday night and next weekend's games as well. Bye, everyone.